Okay, so am I good to restart?
Yeah, go ahead and continue.
I'll go ahead and count you in, and all right, I'll do a 3, 2, 1 restart. Okay.
Sure, I'll just pause it again. All right, 3, 2, 1, restart.
All right, 3, 2, 1, restart. All right, sorry about the tech problems, guys. Now I'm having. Please. There we go. All right, so I really need to be careful here, actually, because I forgot I don't have a suit, and giant side hoppers hurt a little bit. We should be up and running again. Unfortunately, I only have one power bomb at the moment, so I am going to need to skip some locations that could potentially have progression, and I will need to do some backtracking. I also really need to watch my health, because it's getting low. A lack of defense is a pretty common issue early on. So most deaths that you see in the combo randomizer are usually early on. Would like a couple more super missiles before I head down to Kraid. That would be nice. Now I am gonna pop into the X-ray scope, the room before X-ray scope, to be able to get a couple of power bombs, because the fire fleas in the pre-X-ray room have a very high power bomb drop rate, and I was out coming in here. Just need to be very careful because metal spikes are not fun. With no suit, metal spikes do 60 damage, which would trigger my reserves, and depending on how much I have in my reserves, might actually kill me. But because of this, I am going to need to check Spazer on the way back, which is going to be a little bit annoying. Oh wait, no, there's a cack attack. There's a cack attack over on the central platform. They drop super missiles. Samus, I would like to wall jump, please. The 4 pieces of SuperMetroid tech that can be required for the normal logic of the randomizer are Shine Sparks with Speed Booster, wall jumps, mid-air morphs, and wall jumps. So wall jump, Shine Spark, mid-air morph, and infinite bomb jump. That's the one I missed. There are other logics that can require more advanced tricks, but they are not recommended for newer players. This is the most accessible version of this particular randomizer, and it's by far the most played. So far, we're still pretty boxed in right now, though. And I do not have the super missiles to actually get to Kraid at the moment. So I'm gonna head down to Business Center, probably check a couple things over in Death Mountain, because with Mirror and Hammer, we actually can get to Death Mountain East through the portal. Beginning to wonder where this glove is. Nothing there. I'll be a lot more comfortable exploring Super Metroid once I have another power bomb tank. Because with only one power bomb tank, it's very, very easy to soft lock if you're not paying attention. $50. The seed is being stingy at the beginning. Okay, where is this gamer? So now you're about to see the transition point, which is actually the Norfair map station. And this is going to take us up to Death Mountain. And Death Mountain is one of those locations that you want to prioritize. Just because it's a lot of checks. And because we have the lantern, this check is actually in logic as well. Now, breaking logic is something that it's a hot topic of debate in the community about whether breaking logic is good. As long as you can keep straight what you're actually supposed to be able to get to and what's a sequence break, breaking logic can be a very powerful tool because it can not only get you nice things before the game expects you to have them, but it can also tell you where other items are. So, for instance, if you're looking for, say, a hook shot, and you're looking for a hook shot, and you find sorry, I lost my train of thought. But let's go back to that. Let's go back to that mock ball in Brinstar. Let's say I found Bo behind there. That means you know you will not find the speed booster behind any location that requires Bo. Nothing up here. Now, Tower of Hera is accessible, but it's a pendant. So I don't think going in there is a good idea. I will check Dark World map, though. Oh, wonderful. Ice Palace is a pendant. That means there's going to be something in there. But we're very, very far away from Ice Palace being in logic. Well, actually, no, come to think of it, not that far. It's just 2 strength upgrades away from being in logic. But, yay, Pendant Ice Palace! So I'm actually gonna do this in reverse and just ignore Hera for now. So the reason why I'm not going into Tower of Hera is because it's not one of the 7 crystal dungeons that we need to complete for access to Ganon's tower. I will be very sad if something required is in there. Oh hey, there's our first bottle. So the first bottle is the most important one because it can actually be progression. And progression in any randomizer can be defined as any obtainable element that opens up new locations or new features that were previously unavailable to you. Well, there's our lift upgrade. So that is Dark World access. And we can get almost anywhere. So we are a strength upgrade away from going into Pendant Ice Palace, which is a place that I don't like, but there are certain people that, for whatever reason, love Pendant Ice Palace. So typically in a race, Pendant Ice Palace is one of those locations that you go to if you think you're losing, and it's the only way that you'll be able to make up enough time to come back. Oh, hey, Ice Beam. And Varia. Cool. That opens up a lot in Super Metroid. Or does it? Actually, no. We don't have jump. We don't have a way to get up to... Yeah, we don't have a way up there. Do anything else up here? No, I'm just gonna go to Dark World. Yeah, let's just go to Dark World. That makes more sense than going to... That makes more sense than going to Super Metroid, because even though we have Varia Suit, we can't actually check anything with it because we don't have either speed or high jump. I think it's speed, high jump, morph ball bombs, or space jump to get over there. I think we could get over there with ice, but it would be out of logic. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn in this bottle to see what the Sit Kid has. I could check Magic Bat, too. Because I have the hammer. I have the hammer and the powder. There could be something there. Now, yes, we are finding a lot of ammo, but until we find charge, finding ammo is not a bad thing. Charge Beam is one of those items that can be practically anywhere. It can be anywhere in Super Metroid except at Ridley, and anywhere in Link to the Past except in Ganon's Tower. And by logic, it is required to complete the game. But if you do not find Charge Beam, you'll need to find enough ammo to defeat Mother Brain, which is 60 Super Missiles worth of ammo. And that is one of the changes that has been made from the vanilla game to the randomizer, is 7 missile packs have been replaced by super missile packs for sake of better randomization, as well as not being so dependent on charge. So now I'm gonna go head over into Dark World, and I think with this powder and this net, I feel pretty comfortable with Thieves Town. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just get Thieves Town out of the way. Algernon, to answer... Oh, I'm sorry, you were answering another question. But the reason why Ridley cannot have Charge Beam is because Ridley logically requires Charge Beam, otherwise we would need to put enough... I think we'd have to put something like 6 Super Missiles in the progression items pack, which leads to less fun randomization. So now that we have Dark World access, one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to take this big Dark World loop that's going to take us by a lot of items. So with Blue Mail and 9 hearts, I feel pretty confident in my Swordless Thieves Town, so let's go ahead and go in. And one of the factors that influenced my decision to go into Thieves Town is having the hammer. Because you can clear all of this dungeon with just any weapon. But you need a hammer to be able to access the big chest in Thieves Town. And if you see the small key early, then that means that there is a chance that there could be something important in that chest. So being able to guaranteed obtain all 4 items from Thieves Town, since we need to clear this dungeon anyway, why not do it now? The only reason why you wouldn't do this now is if you feel you're not confident in your blind with hammer. Finding a lot of Super Metroid energy too, which is nice. Now, Thieves Town is a dungeon you'll see a lot of newer runners avoid early, just because this is the first dungeon where enemies tend to do increased damage. A lot of enemies here do 2 hearts of damage without any mail upgrades. With blue mail, they only do 1 heart. But the boss fight here can get really hectic, which is why you'll see a lot of runners try to avoid this dungeon. Or even just clear it and then try to kill blind once and then leave. Because once you play Bomb Skip Ball up on this first floor, then you won't actually have to go to the basement of the dungeon again. The boss will just remain at the entrance to the dungeon. If you've played the latest version of the Link to the Past randomizer, you might notice these capacity upgrades that I've been picking up. The reason why those have not been removed from the combo randomizer yet is Total simply has just not implemented the version 30 code into the combo randomizer. So hopefully Blind Thief decides to play nice today. You do actually need a single glove to be able to lift that block. There is a way around it that's kind of awkward, and that can be a logic gotcha for some people. There's a lot of corner cases that you need to be aware of. Oh, hey, that's actually really nice. That's another power bomb pack. It's not progression, but I'm very happy to see that. That's going to make cleaning up routing in Super Metroid a lot easier when we come back, especially if we can find, say, a gravity suit to go with that. Then I will be spending a lot of time in Metroid. So it looks like Blind has our compass. And I did not actually need to open the chest with the map in it because I am clearly good at counting. So here comes this hammer blind fight. Let's make this happen. Oh yeah, Blind has great puns too. Am I gonna die? Yep. That's unfortunate. But that's the risk you run with doing Blind without a sword. So since Blind is going to permanently stay there, we're just going to come back there. We're going to come back there with better equipment. But that's just the risk you happen to run. And we know there's not going to be any progression in there because we found all the items in the dungeon, since the only item that's actually left is the compass. So that'll be a minor time loss, probably a little less than a minute, because I'm going to need to come back to that dungeon eventually. But there's no reason to come back there until after I am ready to complete the game. Or I need time to think about what my next move is going to be. Oh, hi, that's Space Jump. I am very happy to find Space Jump. Space Jump actually opens up a lot. Space Jump gets us into Wreck Ship, it gets us into Bubble Mountain as well, but I'm not going to go back to Metroid yet, because there's still a lot of Link to the Past that I can go do. So the digging game works a bit different than it does in vanilla. The digging game will give you the item automatically when you reach a predetermined number of digs between 1 and 30. So that's a good number of digs, but it's another Powerbomb pack. So now we shouldn't have any issues whatsoever with Powerbomb management, except maybe in Lower Norfair, and that depends on if we find if we can find regular bombs too. So the only thing that I can't do going around the horn here is I can't do Sick Kid yet, or not Sick Kid. I can't do the Smith chain because I don't have Titan Smiths, but I can do everything else. Green Goo is fine. Whoopsie, I put my portal in the wrong place. So once I'm done with this Dark World loop, I think I'm gonna go back to Metroid. Of course, it depends on what I find. For instance, if I find a hook shot, I'm very likely to go into Swamp Palace. Like a hook shot or a Titan's Mitt. A lot of things I'm still looking for. But we're getting to the point where once we find progression, we're gonna want to shift our focus from raw volume over to chasing progression. Because the way the randomizer tends to place items, you usually wind up with long chains of progression. So in the mid-game, you want to typically change focus to when you find something, chase it. And this is Hype Cave, but it's looking like Ammo Cave. Yep, Ammo Cave. 2 super packs, though. 2 out of 10. I think I'm actually going to go to, what are the 5-6? Eastern and Meyer, neither of which are close to being in Logic. I think I'm gonna go to Pyramid Fair, or I'm gonna go to Pyramid Legend Catfish and just ignore Pod for now. Hopefully that location has nothing in it, because that would be a real pain to get to. And that's just 20 rupees on the pyramid. So Catfish is another point of a contest in when to check this. Catfish is in a very remote location of the Dark World that is not really easy to access from any area. It's in the very top right corner. And when to check it is something there's no real exact science behind it. It tends to be very far out of the way, over a minute for one location. So you'll see a lot of runners hold off on checking the Zora area until they have a mirror and can do that in addition to Catfish to try to maximize the value of coming up to the top right corner. And now that I have the money to check King Zora's item, I can go up and do it after I see what this dirty Catfish has. Just an energy tank. But at least I can make my trip up to King Zora a little bit less painful, because even if you have the flute, it takes a significant amount of time to come back up here. So then after this, I think the play is Bubble Mountain. Yeah, Bubble Mountain feels like it's the play. So now in the vanilla game, King Zora gives you the flippers for 500 rupees. In this randomizer seed, he gives you a life lesson. Just a missile pack. So unfortunately, King Zora was a bust, so I am going to... actually, no, I'm not going to hard reset. Because going to Death Mountain actually takes me closer to my destination. I wouldn't mind a gravity suit either. But I get the feeling our next progression is going to be in Bubble Mountain, because all of Bubble Mountain is actually open right now with the space jump. Thankfully, we found Varia early, so no heat runs ever had to be considered. The heat run is another logic break in Super Metroid, where you enter a heated area without Varia suit. Okay, what's back here? Oh, that's the Book of Mudora. I kind of want that. Now, this item is actually in logic without gravity suit, despite it being in lava. So the Book of Mudora lets us read the pedestal tablet, or it lets us read the item that's on the pedestal. It lets us read the two medallion tablets, and it gives us a way to get into Desert Palace, which we do eventually need to complete. Okay, what is at there? Blue goo. I think that blue goo is worth getting. But if I see the fourth bottle and it's significantly out of the way, I'm probably not going to grab it, because 3 bottles is more than enough. And that's money I don't have to spend on blue potions either, because blue potions are expensive. They're valuable, but they're expensive at 160 rupees a pop. They'll refill your health and your magic all the way in Link to the Past. I would not mind finding Screw Attack either. But all of this is available. So all in all, this has actually been a fairly linear seed, despite the number of locations we have. Also take note, remember what I said at the beginning of the seed about Combo Randomizer not ever giving you a sword? Well, we're an hour in and we still have not found a sword. But yeah, yep, that's what was there. It's what I like to call the Fisher-Price shield, which will always be the first shield you find. I did neglect to mention that many of the upgrades in this game, such as equipment, are progressive. And what we mean by progressive is you will always find the swords, the shields, the mails, the gloves, and a couple of other things in the order of power. So whenever you find the first sword, every other sword in the game will then become the second sword. And so on and so forth. So if you want to get the most powerful sword in the game, you need to find all 4 sword locations. So that Book of Mudora is kind of telling me that there's something at Desert Palace. Because in order to actually get the items off of the tablets, you need at least 2 swords. And currently we have 0 swords. Nothing over at Wave. Well, now that we have plenty of ammo, I think I'm gonna go back up and kill Kraid and actually put our first boss kill on the board. So in order to restore peace to Hyrule and the galaxy, we need to kill 13 bosses. 8 from Link to the Past and 5 from Super Metroid. So unfortunately, because we do not have the speed booster, we'll need to go all the way back to Cathedral to be able to get back to our next destination. Blue Brinstar and Red Tower are kind of staring at me too. Where those have been open for a while, it just has not been efficient for me to check them due to the lack of power bombs. Fine, I'll just go around. If you're gonna disappear on me, I'll just go around. Yes, I will be going to SGDQ. So we should be able to take out our first boss now. Kraid is usually taken out pretty early. Just because you typically have access to Kraid fairly early. So those of you in the Super Metroid community might be familiar with this thing we don't want to do called taking Kraid to prom. Hopefully we don't take Kraid to prom, but because I don't have charge, it's going to be a little difficult. Yes, I could have killed him the first time I was here, but we didn't have enough super missiles at the time. Like, I was out of ammo was the issue. Is that the right pixel? I don't... We'll try it. Nope. No, I got blocked. So unfortunately, we will take Kraid to prom, but this fight shouldn't take too long. That wasn't too bad. So now we finally got a boss on the board. I didn't have space jump at the time. The first time I came by here, I didn't have space jump. I mean, I'll take a second shield, because a third shield will make getting the items out of Turtle Rock easier if necessary. Key hunters, please. Also, I should update that. Oh yeah, we still don't have a sword. So I think now Retro Bryn is the play. Let's get to Retro Bryn through... You know what I could do? I could just go direct ship and then do Retro Bryn on the way back. That actually sounds like that sounds like better routing, actually. I can go do Gauntlet, too. So this is just a case of using one game as a highway to fast travel in another game. Because whenever you save and quit in Super Metroid, or Link to the Past, and then do a hard reset, you'll get put back at your ship in Super Metroid. Because the game saves at every transition. So now we can go check Criteria Power Bomb, Gauntlet, and then probably wreck ship to Retro Bryn Star, and then there's got to be something soon, because we're getting a little low on locations. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a hook shot, a gravity suit, it could be a couple of things actually. $300, that can stay there. Because since I have the Zora item now, the only thing that I really need money for at this point is potions. That might not be high enough. So may as well check. And I only need to check the front of Gauntlet, because I know the back of Gauntlet does not have anything. Since we saw those two items earlier. And that's one thing that's very important when you're doing your routing, is you need to consider not only which locations are obtainable, but which locations you can see. That is a single arrow. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it that way. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to wreck ship now. Like wreck ship now just makes sense, because then I can go do Red Tower, which has 3 locations, and then I'll be able to loop back around to get... I'll be able to loop back around Green Bryn to be able to get to Retro Bryn Star. But let's just go ahead and let's go ahead and kill Phantoon. Check this too. So then I can just get the ocean item on the way back. And then next is everybody's favorite Super Metroid boss. And by everybody's favorite Super Metroid boss, I mean the stupid ghost. Everybody who has played Super Metroid has died to this boss. Exactly. Stupid ghost. So the strategy that I'm going to be using against Phantoon is the fastest safe strategy that you can use for him. So that deals 1,000 damage to him. So what this strategy allows me to do is it allows me to deal exactly 2,400 damage to him, which is Phantoon's HP, while only going through one rage phase. Since my options for combating Phantoon at this point are kind of limited, since I don't have Wave, or Plasma, or Charge. So now Phantoon has 1,500 damage on him. So this next cycle should be to kill him. If everything is executed properly. Because if you deal too much damage to Phantoon too quickly, he just disappears. But we got him. So defeating Phantoon will activate the wreck ship and let us get the rest of the items in here, which I believe is 9. Good mix of ammo, too. Our ammo situation in general isn't looking too bad either. We still need... Wait, don't I have Spring Ball? No, I don't. Oh, right. Spring Ball is at Lake Hylia Island. I should have grabbed that before transitioning when I was in the area. Like, when I was by Hype Cave, I should have grabbed Spring Ball at Lake Hylia Island, because it would help out a lot with the power bomb management. This seed is dried up really fast. So now, before I check this next item location, I am going to take a save, and you're going to see the reason why when I go into that room. The room that I have to go through to get to the next item location is called Spiky Death Room. And you will see exactly why it is called Spiky Death Room. Oh, get out of here, Puffer. This is Spiky Death Room. It's awful. So the bottoms of those spike platforms, if you do not have a suit, those do 200 damage. And I've been noticing that Algernon and Janice have been pointing out some stuff in chat. Listen to them. They were actually supposed to be on the mic with me, but circumstances, unfortunately, have prevented them from joining me. And the reason why we save there is because it's actually faster to save here and then load the save file if nothing is... if there's nothing at the back of a Spiky Death Room. Which in vanilla is an energy tank. So now this room is going to be kind of annoying because we don't have any of the really overpowered combat options. And these key hunters do not die in one super missile. There's a lot of really strong enemies up here. And in order to actually open these doors, we need to kill every enemy in the room. Attic is so nice when you have screw attack. One really cool thing that I like about the Super Metroid community is every single room in the game has a name. That room I just cleared all the enemies out of is called the Attic. And I'll point out a bunch of other really clever room names when we reach them. Just a big 20. Where's all this progression at? Probably in Retro Brinstar. So now that I've opened both of those doors, I don't actually have to kill the key hunters. Or the atomics. So since I don't have speed, I can't actually obtain this item, but thankfully I can see what it is. It is nothing. Nothing I care about. Just a missile pack. Missile packs are the most common item in the pool by far. There are 39 instances of missile packs in the pool, I believe. I think it's 39. It's either 37 or 39. Just a missile pack. We already saw that was garbage. So it's just the bowling alley left. So those of you curious about the Billy Mays room, we're going to be going there pretty soon, but now it's time to go bowling. So bowling alley is one of those places where you can just relax a little bit, catch up on tracking, catch up on Discord. But there's just a couple locations back here. Just the item in the back of the bowling alley and the gravity suit item. Oops, did not want to use those. Oh, the boots. I was wondering if Wreck Ship was going to be dry again, but we got the boots. So now with those boots, we are guaranteed to be able to finish Desert. And that might be required for other reasons as well. About time we found our first go fast item. A digging tool? Oh, that's a great place to put that. I wonder how rusted that thing is by now. So I hope you guys like fetch quests. So we have a shovel. Yeah, library was nothing. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go down to Red Tower and then route over to Retro Brinstar. Because I do not have the wave beam, I will need to perform a minor glitch to actually be able to get over there from where I'm at. But it is the locations are actually in logic because you could just go around Western Crateria and through all of Brinstar to get over there. But why would you want to do that? That's slow. So Red Tower is one of those really weird locations that can be very tricky to route depending on when you do wreck ship. And it doesn't actually take a lot to get up here. Oh yeah, fun fact about the randomizer logic. In combo randomizer only, that Chozo statue can have Morph Ball. It is absolutely possible for Morph Ball to be there in combo randomizer only. And what makes that possible is the Business Center portal. So I was also talking about a minor glitch that I was going to need to do to actually make this route work. There's a minor glitch I'm going to be performing here, called the gate glitch. What we're going to do is we're going to open this gate from the wrong side. Eventually. There we go. So that is an abuse of some of, it's an abuse of some of the physics from opening, or not from opening, from like momentum, because whenever you're moving and you fire a missile, the momentum from Samus's movement is actually added to the missile, like you would expect. Fortunately, I'm very, very low on power. Oh, there we go. I was saying I was very, very low on power bombs, but now I should have enough power bombs to actually clear this out. Oh, holy power bombs! Of course I didn't come down here earlier. That would have cleaned up this routing really nicely. Just holy power bombs in Retro Brinstar. No wonder I couldn't find any. So now we are actually coming up on the Billy Mays room. So I will show you how the Billy Mays room got its name. If I can wall jump. So call now after you order your bombs, and you'll get a sword absolutely free. Yep, but wait, there's more. And that's... I'm pretty happy with that. So it only took us, almost an hour and a half to find our first sword. So now we're not relying on hammer combat. Also, I just realized I forgot to open the door. Wait a minute. There's one more thing I need to go check. No, Algernon. I don't want to do a Crystal Flash right now for several reasons. One, it would put me very low on power bombs, and two, I have reserves. So to explain what the Crystal Flash is, for those who have never seen it, in Super Metroid, there's a secret technique where you need to have at least 10 of each type of ammo and then an extra power bomb. So 10 missiles, 10 super missiles, and 11 power bombs. You need to have less than 50 energy and empty reserves. If you hold, I believe, aim up, aim down, and the fire button, when you morph and lay a power bomb, it'll consume 10 of each type of ammo to completely fill your energy and reserves. So even if I had the power bombs, I would actually need the damage down before I could do the Crystal Flash, because I have energy in my reserves right now. So now that I have a healthy amount of ammo, I'm gonna go clean up the rest of our Retro Brinstar, except for the high jump, I think? Or not high, the what is it? I can't words. The big pink energy tank. I can't get that right now. Well, I could, but I don't know the setup to do it without high jump. And speaking of setups, what I did there was shot a super missile block off screen to be able to skip Spore Spawn, because no one wants to fight Spore Spawn. Spore Spawn is so universally hated in the Super Metroid community that for the people that do actually like him, they had to invent an entire category dedicated to Spore Spawn. It's called Spore Spawn RTA. That's very well timed, actually. Don't have speed boosters, so I can't do Waterway. Where is this progression at? We're kind of running out of locations. I think the next place I'm gonna go is Desert, because I just got the book. Because Desert is a crystal, it's beatable. Oh wait, no. I can go get X-Ray now because I have space jump. I mean, that is correct. You could just enter his room and then lay a super to leave, but the game does not expect you to have super missiles because, well, Spore Spawn is the boss that you're supposed to kill in vanilla to get your first super missiles, but we have ways around it because we're clever speedrunners. I can't think of a better time to check X-Ray than right now. Oh, screw attack. I'm okay with finding that. That will make areas like Lower Norfair a lot easier. I am very, very okay with finding screw attack. It's one of those things in Super Metroid Rando, or even just the combo Rando, you're never disappointed to find. Well, maybe not never. I guess if you've already beaten Super Metroid, then you would be disappointed to find it because it's in some silly place like Ganon's Tower. But I'm very happy to find Screw Attack right now, at a point where it will still be very, very helpful. So we're gonna head back to Link to the Past, go to Desert, and then I think after if we don't find anything in Desert, we're probably gonna go clear out North Dark World. You know what I could do too? Since I have Hammer, let's actually, while I'm going to the desert area, let's route in a Bombos tablet check. Because there is this really convoluted possibility that Titan's Mitts could be up there. Usually you'll want to check the Bombos tablet when you do the blacksmith chain, but since we're headed in this direction, I feel there's a minimal opportunity cost to actually checking this location with Desert. And that's one thing, that's a very important skill that vanilla speedruns will not teach you, and it's really the appeal of Randomizer, is being... Fairy from the future, that's a reserve tank. But one thing that Randomizer teaches you that vanilla speedruns don't is the ability to be adaptable. You have to be adaptable when you're playing these. So now Desert with the boots and a fire source is fully beatable. And generally, the first places you should be searching in the mid-game are beatable dungeons, because you have to come to these locations anyway. Okay, so the big key, that means either the torch or the big chest has the small key. Go check Agina after I'm done here, so I think I'm actually going to do the right side last. Since I'm going to do an Agina check. The Agina's Cave, which is to the east of Desert Palace, is one of those weird locations that's actually open from the beginning of the game, but you don't see people check it early because it's very far out of the way. It's about a minute out of the way for one location. And it can cost you a lot of time if there's something there, but it's just never appealing to go to. Because since all of the items are placed at random, what drives your routing decisions is item density. You always want to go to the places of maximum item density. I mean, those boots at Wreck Ship, those very well could be progression. I mean, they're required to beat the game anyway, because, well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. We weren't necessarily boots locked out of Desert. Nice! I got a little spammy, but that was still beautiful. I'll take that. I mean, when you have half magic, you can kind of just spam the fire rod like that, since you have 16 shots with it instead of 8 on a full magic bar. But I will need to go back into Desert Palace to grab that one item that I passed by. there's the second item, which means that I believe the vanilla binky chest has to be the compass. So now we'll go check the old man's cave and probably throw an explosive at him, because that's what you do to that poor guy, since he never has progression and he's such a waste of time to go to compared to other more item dense locations. But you never know when he has something. What a troll. Wow, what a troll you are, Agana. What do? What do? Like, that's been in logic since the beginning of the game. What a great spot for that. Alright, so now we'll do North Dark World, which is... Well, it's more locations than that, actually, because we can do North Dark World and end by doing Back and Escape. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 locations. You're not in the Dark World yet, right? I think I just lifted the rock and then turned around. Thought I was in the Dark World. Whoopsie! Actually, I have a better idea. I'm gonna stop up here for health and then go into Skullwoods. Because we have Fire Rod, we have a sword, Skullwoods is beatable now. Oh yeah, one other gotcha people don't realize until they start playing this randomizer a bunch is you actually do need a sword to complete Skullwoods. You'll see a lot of people pop into this dungeon early, even before they have the Fire Rod, because there's a lot of quick checks you can do here, and you can often determine how many items are in the back. And even if you don't get anything, knowing that there are 2 Fire Rod locked items, that can be nice. It just can be nice just to know. Whether you have to come back here or not, especially if Skullwoods is a pendant. I have Red Cane, right? Yeah, I do. So I can do this real quickly. I also need to remember I have the mirror. That can often be the most difficult part of playing these randomizers, is remembering what items you have. And just remembering to use them. Especially if you find something super early, it can be difficult to remember that you have it. Let's go ahead and just kill Mothula. There's no real reason not to right now. That vine wall there, that's the reason why you need the, the sword to be able to complete this dungeon. If it weren't for that wall, you could make this like really mean plando where all 4 swords are in Ganon's tower. That would be completely possible otherwise. Unfortunately, because I only have 1 sword, I'm gonna be relying primarily on the fire rod for damage against Mothula. Can you get out of the corner, please? Okay, that works. Okay, cool, you have my other item too, so I don't have to go digging through every small key. I have the book. I could check pedestal. Is there anything that could actually be on the pedestal? There is. Yeah, there's, I think, 1 item can be there. That's the bow. Well, SuperMetroid stuff can be there, too. I mean, I doubt whoever was vetting the seed will do this to me. Yeah, I didn't think so. Just missiles. Had to look, though. I'm gonna go back and finish Thieves Town right now. Or do I want to do that now? No, I'm gonna do that when I do the Smith Chain. Since I'm gonna likely be saving and quitting out of Back of Escape and just coming back here. We haven't found a single medallion yet either. Oh, we haven't checked this yet. This is not available yet because we don't have Kate, but I can see what it is. Okay, good. Bumper Ledge has nothing. That item is gated by Kate. Well, strength upgraded Kate. Contrary to popular belief, that location does not actually require the hook shot. And that tripped up so many people that I think it was in version 26 of the randomizer. The text on the sign outside of the Bumper Ledge Cave was changed to indicate that you don't need the hook shot to actually obtain that item. So now I can go do Graveyard Ledge, I can do King's Tomb into Back of Escape. Bomb capacity, not interested. Now, putting off Back of Escape is something that you see a lot of people do, because usually by the time you get, at the same time you open up Back of Escape, you also open up the entire Dark World. So Back of Escape tends to get put off a lot longer than it should, and for whatever reason, Back of Escape just has so much in it. You will not believe the number of races that I have lost in tournaments or just friendly races because Back of Escape has been just loaded. Or Back of Escape is the one thing you needed that's actually been in Logic for the last 2 hours, and you just happen to miss it. I mean, that's good, but it's not what I'm really interested in right now. But I think, yeah, just needed to check my inventory real quick to make sure that I already have the map. 'Cause the worst feeling is when you walk backwards through the sewers to go get the dark cross chest, only to realize that you miscounted your items and it's actually there. So nothing back there, unfortunately. Dark Death Mountain is kind of staring at me, but I'm gonna go do the Smith Chain. That's staring at me. Pendant Dice Palace is staring at me. So the reason why runners hate Ice Palace is it's a very long dungeon. It can be made even longer if you don't have the hook shot. Like, there's a lot of ways that dungeon can just be made terribly, terribly long. All right, let's go kill Blind. With red mail and an actual pointy stick, this should be a piece of cake. For go mode, I believe you are correct, actually. Wait, we need hook. We need hook also. So it's bow, hook shot, gravity, and charger ammo, I believe. That's correct. But we do also need hook shot. But other than that, you nailed it. So those of you not familiar with this community, what we mean by go mode, that's the state when you have everything that you need to complete the game. And that is the point in the game where you can stop checking treasure chests. And it's really a big question of where is this bow at? So I think Smith Chain sounds good right now, actually. That's a good number of locations. And we can route in the dig spot too, because we found that shovel and we still haven't cashed that in. But I'm really starting to get worried that this bow is in a silly spot. You'll quickly find that most seeds have at least one item location that is in an absolutely silly spot. So what I'm doing here to be able to knock all of these pegs down very quickly is a glitch that's exclusive to the Japanese version of Link to the Past. Called item dashing. If you initiate a dash and use an item at the same time, you will do both at the same time, and you can use it to dash through hammer pegs, through pots. In particular with the hammer. The hammer is the most useful item to do it with, but you can item dash with basically anything. Alright, so now I'll go do the lunchbox. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why that glitch was patched out, because that was so cool. We're referring to a glitch where if you where if you in a previous version of Link to the Past Randomizer, where if you use the mirror to transition the screen instead of actually walking to the next screen, it would not reset the count of the number of pegs that you've knocked down. So you could actually just dash across the pegs a couple of times. Sure. It's right there, and I really shouldn't be turning down more health, not with Fighter Sword. So I am really starting to think that Ice Palace has something. I think after I check Smith Chain, I'm gonna just dive it. I mean, I think with Cane of Samaria, it's actually completely in well, no. Depending on key placement, it might not be in logic. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to ice at this point. So anybody who has watched me in tournament races knows that I do not like Ice Palace at all. So I'm one of those people that will try to put Ice Palace off as long as possible, especially Pendant Ice Palace, and it's going to wind up having, like, whenever Ice Palace is a crystal, it's just empty. When Ice Palace is a pendant, and I think to go to it early, it never has anything. But every time I put off Ice Palace, it's just loaded. And I know the person that rolled the seed as well. So if you just happen to roll me a seed, where that just wants you to go into Pendant Ice Palace, then, like, I know who you are, and you're a giant meme lord. Come on, Pangators. Like, I have no good way to deal with these Pangators. Yeah, exactly. It's green pendant, so it's four items, but it still is awful. Because this dungeon takes so long. So you might remember in the vanilla game that when you get the green pendant out of Eastern Palace, the Hostrilla gives you the boots. Well, that's an item location. So whenever you see a dungeon that has a green pendant, you have to add 1 to the expected item count for any purposes of decision making on do I want to go to a pendant dungeon. Because whenever you make a decision to go into a pendant dungeon, you need to remember that you're going into a dungeon that is not strictly required to complete the game. So what I did there is a trick called the Ice Palace Bomb Jump. What that allows you to do is it allows you to skip the big key of this dungeon. It's the first major trick that anybody learned that people learn playing Link to the Past, because it saves so much time in dungeon navigation. What the Ice Palace Bomb Jump lets you do is it lets you skip this really convoluted crystal switch puzzle. Unfortunately, because I have no way to get the hook. I do not have the hook shot. Depending on the layout of the dungeon, I may not actually have a way to complete it. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go up to... Well, first thing I'm going to do is powder this anti-fairy because I need health badly. I'm going to go get iced tea chest and then probably go defeat Cold Stare, because what the key logic may require you to do is, like, where's this big key? Actually, no, I don't know if Cold Stare can actually... Well, if Cold Stare has a small key, then this dungeon is actually hookshot locked. That's what's been making this beginning of the end game, or like the beginning of the late game, such a pain. Wow. I'm gonna have to re-enter this dungeon. Like, all the items are behind hookshot, logically. This logic is turned really goofy. Thankfully, Cold Stare shouldn't be too bad because I can just spam the Fire Rod. Hookshot behind Shack Tool, please no. We'll be here all night. Although I guess it wouldn't. Oh, I guess that wouldn't be a bad thing because it would kind of let us get the marathon back on schedule. OP. I'm gonna have to switch to hammer strats here. Okay, that's one item. That's not happening. But I better get my butt back in here and go clear the rest of this dungeon. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe, like, Dark Death Mountain East is what the seed wants you to do. I mean, it could just be Pendant Harrow, which would be trolly as well. It's just, which pendant dungeon do you want to do? Well, aren't those kinds of seeds great? Where it's just, oh, you've exhausted your options. Which arbitrary pendant dungeon do you go into? Did you choose the wrong one? If you did, you probably lost the race. And speaking of races, if you're interested in learning how to race this, as well as getting advice on how to play, there is a Discord for the SuperMetroid: A Link to the Past combo randomizer. Which we would actually like to link in the chat. So since I'm not going to the bottom of the dungeon, I don't actually need to do the Ice Palace bomb jump. Oh, I don't have any bombs. And if you are interested in playing this yourself, you can go to the website samus.link. Yes, that is the actual name of the website. It is samus.link. And then you'll be able to, and in order to play it, you'll need a ROM image of the Japanese version of Japanese 1.0 version of Link to the Past, as well as an unheadered copy of Super Metroid. And then you'll upload those to the website, and then the website will actually randomize all your items for you. And that's the last item. So, Pendant Ice Palace did not have anything, at least in its initial items. I mean, the green pendant could be something. Whoops, didn't go far enough left. Actually, I'm gonna save and quit and go up to Death Mountain. We're gonna try Dark Death Mountain East. The thing I don't like about this play is it's only 4 checks. And we're still missing a couple of very, very important items. Big gravity suit. We're really just running out of options as to where to go. Spite Cave is obtainable, but not in logic, because we don't have a cape or a cane of Burna. You know what? I think I'm gonna go into Hera. I think it's time. You typically don't see runners go into pendant dungeons until they start to run low on options for getting items. Just because dungeons are lengthy, they don't contain that many items. And if you go into a dungeon and you miss, it's a pretty big time sink. Which can very easily make the difference between winning and losing a race. If you are interested in doing races of this, Speed Gaming actually restreams 2 of these races per week. One on Sunday, I believe it's Sunday afternoon, and one on Monday evening. We usually get between 8 and 16 players. So if you want to see more of this, Speed Gaming does do broadcasts of this randomizer twice a week. And there are a lot of very friendly people in the community that would be willing to teach you the ins and outs of this. But you do need to be familiar with both games, and if you are intimidated by keeping all of the locations straight, there are a couple of very nice trackers you can use that, in addition to tracking items, will also track locations. Alright, do you have my item, Holdorm? That's not progression. I'm gonna wind up doing all these dungeons anyway, just because the progression is in someplace silly. And And I wasn't paying attention to drops either. There might be an item in the basement, too. I still also have to check Ether Tablet. I haven't checked that yet. Alright, what's the basement? Oh, it's the other item. Because why wouldn't it be? So I guess you will get to see the coffee break room. You're about to see why it's called the coffee break room. Because you just get to sit here and do nothing for 45 seconds while the floor all the floor tiles have to break. So how's everybody doing? Hope you're enjoying the show. Hopefully we can get some of you to actually try this out, because it may look intimidating at first, but it is such a blast playing these. And don't worry about it taking a long time either, because it will take a long time for you to finish your first seed. I want to say the first seed I ever did took me about 5.5 hours. And now I'm usually about around 3.5. 2 heart pieces. Okay, just a heart container. But we're starting to run very, very low on options. I mean, there are a couple of places we can still go, like Dark Death Mountain East is a possibility. Oh, there's the ball. That answers a ton of questions, actually. And that actually should have been checked when I was up here the first time. But I didn't have access to it at the time. And it's still annoying that the bow is in that kind of spot. Okay, so Ether for TR. Like, that's not going to matter that much because Turtle Rock is pendant. But that's kind of an annoying location for the bow, actually, because that's Mitz locked. Because in order to get to the top of, or anywhere in Dark Death Mountain East, you need both strength upgrades. So it's really just that lift upgrade at Agina that was gating everything. But what that bow will let us do is it will let us clean out Palace of Darkness as well as Eastern Palace. And yes, bonking there is actually, that's an intended game mechanic. And I'll point out the room that proves it when we get there. It's in Ganon's Tower. But bonking off of objects is actually an intended way to jump gaps. So that's why that one particular chest in this cave is actually in logic without the hook shot. So now we can finally get our bow, which was just in an absolutely miserable location given where things were. So now we're gonna take this bow and go to probably Palace of Darkness. Yeah, we can get Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace done. And we'll be able to turn in the green pendant reward. This is a super awkward menu, too. So now, Palace of Darkness, in terms of its key logic, is probably the most complicated dungeon. So the way the randomizer places keys in dungeons is it needs to ensure that you will not softlock a dungeon no matter how you use your keys. And because of that, there's a lot of restrictions on where keys can be in Palace of Darkness. And depending on where you find items and how many items you find early on in Palace of Darkness, you can often infer which chests in the front of the dungeon have keys. So a lot of chests towards the front of this dungeon will have keys, and then all the items tend to be in the back. You will find 1 or 2 items in the front, usually, but most of the rest of them are in the back. That chest will often have a small key in it, but it won't always have one. If that chest does not have a small key in it, then the bow is logically required for any progression here. It is possible to get all the way up to the back of the dungeon without the bow by using a minor glitch that allows you to break the scrolling of the screen. It's colloquially referred to as potion glitch because you use a potion to activate it. Wait, don't I have silver? Oh, no, that was the practice seed I did before this. We haven't found silver arrows yet. Unlike in Zelda 1, silver arrows are not required to complete the game, but they make the Ganon fight a lot easier. Oh, whoops, I need to flip that first. I mean, as tedious as it can be doing the front first, you do need to check the front first, just because of keys. So there's 2 more keys out there. Oh, there's the hook shot. That's kind of a dirty spot. That's a very dirty spot for the hook shot, given where the bow was. Oh, and wave beam. Okay. That's a very dirty location for the hook shot. So that actually puts us pretty close to go mode, I think. We need, I think, just gravity and whatever the Meyer medallion is. I think that's all that's left. Tracking down that last item can be a real bear. And at that point, instead of following your progression, you want to follow your volume again. Because when you're looking for that last item, generally that last item can be anywhere you haven't searched, just because you have so much of the world open. You could have missed it earlier in the chain. It could be behind the most recent item you found. There's no real way to tell. So towards the end of the game, you definitely want to be focusing more on volume. Also, there is a chest to the south of that locked door, but if you have 3 keys when you come back there... Oh wait, no, I'm dumb. I got it backwards. That chest actually has an item in it. If you have 3 keys, that will have an item. If you have 2 keys, that has to be a small key because otherwise you could key lock yourself. Oh, there's Master Sword. I guess we did technically need a second sword for Go Mode as well. Because because you cannot deal damage to Ganon with just the level 1 sword. You need at least a level 2 sword to be able to damage Ganon. And we don't want to fight Ganon with just a level 2 sword because it's very difficult, very long. I know how to do it, it just takes a while. So fun fact about the randomizer, that last treasure chest we opened in the dark maze, in vanilla, that contains a small key. That key placement is actually impossible in the randomizer. You can never have a small key in that dark room. Oh, I definitely agree. Master Sword Ganon is terrifying. So this turtle room right here, I think that this is, in terms of Link to the Past, I think this is the worst room in the game. Doing that turtle room without Tempered Sword or a medallion is just awful, especially if you don't have the lantern. Doing that room without the lantern is a nightmare. So now we need to land 17 hits with the hammer on Helmasaur King, and then it should be a simple matter of hacking and slashing it down. When you have red mail, the bosses in Link to the Past are just not an issue. Good enough. No oh, we need flute too. Oh wait, no we don't. No we don't. We can get there through Norfair. Yeah, we don't need flute. Also, instead of heading out, I really should go to Eastern Palace too. I've done some standalone Link to the Past as well. You just have to understand the nuances between the nuances that are specific to combo randomizer. Like the fact that the flute is not required to access Mire because you can go there through SuperMetroid. So I think what I'm gonna do is clear out Eastern Palace and then go up to what's available in Metroid? Like Croc, I think. I think it might be just... Yeah, Croc's... Wait, Croc is... Oh, we have Wave Beam. Croc's in Logic now. It's so weird for Wave Beam to be progression, but in this particular seed, Wave Beam does actually allow us to get Crocmire. So I don't think Crocmire is the worst idea. Yeah, that's correct. So space jump might not be logically required. And I do have space jump though, so I think I'm going to probably after Croc. I think after Croc, if I don't find anything, I'm gonna lava dive. Wait, do I have high jump? I don't have high jump, I can't lava dive. But I get the feeling there's gonna be progression in Croc. I was like, wait, I don't have high jump, I can't lava dive. Wait, no, we're not gonna do that. We just found Hookshot Swamp's beatable. That makes a heck of a lot more sense than going to Croc. So let's go to Swamp Palace. Yeah, going to Swamp Palace makes a lot more sense than trying to lava dive. What would make a ton of sense is after finding that, if Gravity Suit is in Swamp Palace. But if we don't find anything in Swamp Palace, then we're definitely going to Croc. Actually, I think if we find Gravity Suit in Swamp Palace, our next destination should be Lower Norfair. Like just Lower Norfair up to Meridia, because we have ice. It wouldn't be in... Not yet. Like, I think there's gotta be a Gravity Suit out there sometime very soon. Like, there almost has to be a Gravity Suit out there. Because Gravity Suit would get us... no, we still would not have logical access to Iron. Because we would still need Space Jump. I mean, it wouldn't be a big deal for me to go there. I just need to do a Gravity Jump to get up there. But there's... Yeah, I would think that the next item we find is going to tell us where the rest of the stuff we need to complete the game is. Oh yeah, right, we do have Space Jump. It's right, Gravity would just put everything in logic. As I found that so long ago. Yeah, it's really just Gravity is what's holding this up. Also, I just realized I was a doofus and never turned in the medallion, or never turned in the green thing when I was over there, because I realized I found the Hookshot in Palace of Darkness. I'm like, wait, Swamp Palace? That makes a lot more sense. It's okay though. We'll find it. We'll find it eventually. Where's Charge at, too? So when you're doing Swamp Palace in this order and you grab that pot key, you need to make sure not to flip that switch before you grab this key. Because otherwise you need to leave the dungeon and then transition the screen to be able to reset the water in this dungeon. That's called flooding the key, and it's about a 3-minute mistake. It's something you don't want to do. Everybody's done it. Like, everybody who plays who plays a lot of Link to the Past Randomizer has flooded that Swamp Palace key. So now there is actually an argument to skip these 2 locations on the left side of Swamp Palace. The reason why is because it's 2 locations that take a long time to get to. But I'm not a fan of skipping locations until I'm 1 item away from go mode. Yes, that is correct, Algernon. There were some very early versions of the randomizer that actually soft-locked the game. Left side big key. And speaking of them, Janice, the development crew for both the Super Metroid and Link to the Past standalone randomizers, like Desirect, Vitor, Total, all those guys need shoutouts because without them, none of this would be possible. They take the games that we've known and loved as kids and just turn them into just hours upon hours of endless fun that really makes you use your head into thinking of the way to be able to finish the game. What the heck? Why is there nothing here? Swamp Palace just empty. What is going on here? Oh, there's Gravity Suit. So that's how you get items in this randomizer, is you just complain about not having items. That's clearly how that works. So now Myers and Logic, Lower Norfair's in Logic. I think I'm gonna go clean those out. Actually, I think that's go mode. I think. It would be Master Sword Silverless Ganon, but I think we're technically in go mode. Oh, the Myra Medallion, you're right, yeah. We need the Myra Medallion. You're right, yeah. We need the Myra Medallion. That's the last thing. This is... Thanks for keeping it. Thanks for keeping me in chat, guys. This is the first one that... This is not the first of these that I've done today. But yeah, now whatever Medallion Meyer is that'll be go mode. Once we find that. I'm really surprised we haven't found one yet. But I think the play from here is absolutely Norfair. And it is actually possible. Oh, we don't have speed booster either. This is so weird. So there is actually a possibility that we might not ever find Flute. It might just be in Ganon's tower. The thing that makes getting to Mire annoying is that I might have to traverse Lower Norfair again, depending on where this last medallion is. I am so surprised that none of these medallions have turned up this entire scene. But with 7 tanks gravity, space jump screw attack, Lower Norfair should be a breeze. Also, I just realized I never clicked Spazer back when I found it. Oops, shot too early. But yes, that is correct. Ganon's tower logically requires all of the Golden 4 Super Metroid bosses. Just taking a pit stop here for ammo real quick. Because I'm gonna need ammo for Ridley, and it's Ridley and possibly GT. Because I'm probably gonna check GT. So I'm just stocking up here, because it's faster to farm it here than it is in Lower Norfair. So if I didn't have space jump, I could get into Lower Norfair by doing a gravity jump. But since I have space jump, I can actually get up here, and this is the intended way for you to get into Lower Norfair. And now comes the best music in the game. This song is so good. Great, another gate hack. That didn't take too long. All right, so I'm gonna go check the Mire area real quick. See what medallion we need. We need ether. You know, it would be absolutely amazing if this ether was just in Mire Shed. Like Mire Shed or Checkerboard Cave. Someplace nice and convenient. But when does that ever happen? Okay, not concerned about ammo for... I'm not concerned about ammo anymore. So we know now we just need ether. That's nice. That's a very nice thing to find. I'll take it. Unfortunately, this time the key is not under the mat. I gotta go find it. I better grab that just in case. I'm gonna grab a few supers here. Because I do want to have a couple extras just in case pirates give me bad drops. Alright, now this room is the worst room in the game. If you look on the speedrunning wiki, this room for Super Metroid, this room is actually called the worst room in the game. It's not too bad in 100%, but in every other category, it's just awful. Thankfully, we have screw attack, so that room is a piece of cake. There's our ether. That's go mode. So now at about 2 hours and 35 minutes, we have everything we need to complete the game. Yes, you need to defeat both Ganon and Mother Brain. But I believe that is go mode for both games. Terribly concerned about health or ammo. I'm a little sad we won't be able to microwave the shrimp because we didn't find plasma, but Charge Ice Wave Spazer is good beam. Yeah, I'll take a look at stuff that's on the way, but I'm not going to go out of my way for anything. Like, I'll check the item past Ridley for sure. Because the amount of time to make that check is negligible. And it could be like plasma. Yeah, I got terrible drops. All right, Ridley, let's go. Come on. Can you cooperate, please? That's a miss. Can you pogo me, please? Cool. That was a pretty clean fight. That's correct. No, I am gonna save before I'm gonna save before I go. Well, this will actually be a problem because I have no supers. I have no supers to gate hack to Meyer, so I think. Goodness. Yeah, I have no supers. Did I also mention I don't like lower Norfair without high jump? I need supers bad. I'm just gonna go around at this point. To get back to Meyer. And you're probably starting to see why SuperMetroid Randomizer very quickly becomes High Jump Appreciation Simulator. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go around. I'm gonna have to go back around to get... This is really annoying. It would have been a... You're right, Janice. It would have been a lot faster just to go farm supers rather than go all the way around, because I'm gonna have to sit through the acid cutscene too. Yeah, it would have been a lot faster just to farm supers. Because this is actually my only way back to Meyer right now. And I'm not gonna go look for the flute. Shoutouts to Fingerquick for the raid, by the way. Thank you. This could have been avoided with proper routing. So I think all we have to do now is we have Meyer and Dragon. Which Dragon I'm unfortunately gonna have to ammo kill, which means I'm gonna have to stop at my ship. So all we're looking for now in these dungeons is just big keys. I am gonna check stuff that's on the way, though, to see if I can get a sword. Because right now we're looking at Master Sword Silverless, which I'm sure everybody here wants to see, right? And by Master Sword Silverless, I mean the Ganon fight. It's the most difficult Ganon fight in Link to the Past. It's long, it's hard. It's very, very unforgiving. Exactly. Exactly, you just have to make good use of the portals. Which actually makes it difficult to transition from this to regular Super Metroid Randomizer, just because of how much the portals affect your routing. Ha! Grapple. I have a fairy, I'll be fine. So those of you who wanted to see Shaq Tool, we can get to him now. Whoops. I have that fairy though. I think if I'm gonna do Silverless Ganon, I'm probably gonna go, when I go up to Death Mountain, I'll probably go the long way, just so I can grab some pots. I think I'm gonna, oops. I mean, fairies should be good enough, I just don't want to run out of magic. Because I'm gonna be using a bunch of magic for the second phase, probably. It might actually be worth it just to actually save and quit to Link to the Past, or save and quit to Sanctuary, and just run over to the Witch's Hut and get blue potions if I don't find Tempered. Though if I find Tempered, I'll be fine though. There's the key. I think the only time that this particular route through Mire is useful is if the big key is in that exact position. Because I believe that's actually faster than taking the traditional route through Mire. Switch, so I need to flip it back. I don't have a lot of arrows. I have the cape, though. I have cape and half magic. I think a full bar, or, well, I don't have a full bar of magic anymore, but I have enough to the point where I'm probably just going to use cape dash strats. I don't think I can kill all the eyeballs with it, but I can do a bunch of damage to them. This is my favorite Vitreous strat. That strat is so good. Oh, and there's the other item. So we actually got both items out of Meyer, too. So I'm gonna save and quit, fill up at my ship, and then go to Dre. So overall, I'd say this has actually been a pretty pleasant seed. There have been a couple good memes, like Agina having a lift upgrade, because why would Agina ever have something important? The bow is in a pretty nasty spot too, but other than that, it was actually a pretty pleasant seed. So shoutouts to Janice for vetting the seed for the marathon. I should probably also turn Ice Beam back on. Although in a way, I was kind of sad that Gravity Suit was late, because my favorite kinds of seeds to show people are seeds where your first Dark World access is through the portal that I'm about to take to Super Metroid. Those seeds do tend to be kind of long, so it might be for the best that it was this way. I think after I get out of Meridian, I'm gonna go to the Witch's Hut and buy potions. Since we're looking at Silverless Master Sword. I'm also gonna have to draw these guys over. I should have grabbed Spring Ball. There is a clip you can do to get around these guys, but I'm not well versed in it. And because I don't have Spring Ball or Speed Booster, I can't just actually jump over them. Because you could run right past him if you had Speed Booster. But of course I don't have that. Because when would I ever find something useful like Speed Booster? A little too early. I am going to check this item, though, for Tempered. I don't think I'm going to check the Space Jump item, though. Alright, Dragon, can you cooperate, please? Wait, I have grapple. So we will get to fry the shrimp. I almost spaced that I got grapple admired. So all we have left to do now is just to defeat the main two bosses of the game. So since we're on our way to Ganon's Tower, everybody in chat pick a number between 1 and 22. There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower. One of them will have the big key. So let's play the big key guessing game. That's actually the way that I killed Dragon my first time through the game. Because I just, for the life of me, could not hit her with super missiles. I mean, considering we're on silverless, considering we're on Master Sword and no silvers, I don't think it's a terrible idea. I don't think it's a terrible idea to go grab potions. Because this way I can kind of just, like, cape spam my way through the second phase. Just because Fire Bat phase is awful. So we'll go load up on potions and then... Of course Keto, of course you would say Tile Room. This not having flute thing is awkward too. This is a pretty empty item tracker, all things considered. See if we can get a fairy here. That's the reason why I came this way, to see if I can get a fairy drop. Because normally going up to Tower of Hera first is slower. But I was kind of just fishing for a fairy drop. Because 12 hearts is a little bit low for the end of the game. So if anybody else has any more guesses, you need to get them in before we enter the tower. Because that's when we close it. Like, in a combo seed, 12 is pretty low. And guess is closed. So, in order to go upstairs, we need the big key and we need one small key. I mean, at the very least, we have red mail and like 3 bottles, so it shouldn't be an issue. All right, well, Bob lives. So those of you not familiar with who Bob is, he's an anti-fairy. He's a glitched out anti-fairy that shows up in the chest in the room that has chest number 14 if you go by traditional left side order. I'll point him out if we get there. Hopefully we don't get there because I would like to find the big key. That's right. I never checked the stun prize. Then again, I didn't really have anything to stun enemies with until super late. Huh, Uncle Bombs. So that 10 bomb pack is not actually in the original item pool. That came into existence because of the random weapon mode that was created, I think, a year or so ago. Where instead of starting with a sword at Uncle, it was basically a way to shake up standard mode. Where instead of starting with Zelda Pre-Rescued, you actually had to go through escape at the beginning of the game, like you do in vanilla. I'm gonna check these chests for temper. Nope. Swing into this. Well, we got 2 keys. And I'm sure everybody wants to see Silverless Master Sword anyway, so let's just go upstairs. I need to be really careful with my arrows. I do not have a lot. I believe you are correct. And 10 bombs seem to be the most common for whatever reason. Please. I don't like Gauntlet at all. Like, these rooms are not necessarily difficult, they're just trolly. I really don't want to drink one of these right now, but I don't have a choice. That potion was supposed to be for Ganon. Oh yeah, you're right. I did forget to point out the bonk room. Oh, I just missed it. Almost had a double one cycle on Landmos with Fire Rod. Because I land mode I one cycled the desert Landmos too. But yes, that particular room is the reason why bonking is considered an intended game mechanic and is in the logic. Nice. This has been a fairly good gauntlet. Or not gauntlet, but like GT climb. Been pretty happy with it. Considering that I'm missing a lot of nice conveniences for some of the rooms. So I am gonna check the left side chest for... Oh, there's Quake. Oops. Not this one, though. Oh, thanks, game. Great spot for high jump boots. Just great spot for high jump boots. Thanks, game. You know, those would have been nice to have, like, 2 hours ago. You know what? Because of that... That's what I have to say about that chest. I got greedy. This is not going well. Apparently I'm terrible at geometry tonight. Janice, when I finish the seed, if you have the spoiler log, I would like to know where the swords are. But no, in a race situation, I would actually check that chest. I'm just being a giant meme lord. Alright, here we go. Master Sword Silverless. So it takes 12 spins per phase, and you have to use spins to damage him. Okay, he's out of Fire Bat phase. So I'm gonna be pretty quiet during this. Because this is very, very hard. There we go, got him. So get your G's out in chat. That's 1 G. Oh, not yet. Okay. So there's a lot going on in that fight. Like getting the torch glitch where I only have to light one of the torches instead of 2 is very, very important. So now I'm gonna fill up on ammo real quick. That will change though. I do plan on running this on hardware once my flash cart comes. Turn ice back on. So now all there is left to do is I need to go kill Mother Brain. This will be a nice time though. This will be in probably the low to mid 320s. Like, that's a solid race time. Yes, you can. You need an SD to SNES, but you can run this on a Super Nintendo. Yeah, it's just a flash cart. Like, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. They're like 170 bucks, but if you do as much like round hacks and randomizers as I do, it's worth every penny. I can't believe I grab. That was really, really sloppy. I also need to remember that some of these strats might not work because I don't have plasma. Wow, this Metroid is awful. I'm playing so badly. Like, really, in these Metroid rooms, you just shouldn't get grabbed at all. I'm gonna take suits off, actually. I also need to remember when I put my suits back on, I need to turn off screw attack. Also, you have to remember to face right here. Gotta save those 40 frames. Then turn off screw attack. I'm turning off screw attack to set up Zebetite skip. Which it saves on some ammo is all. And a little bit of time, but mostly ammo. All right. Easy every time. So just gotta pump a bunch of regular missiles into Mother Brain. I'm gonna save my supers for the for phase 2 of Mother Brain. Yeah, if Mother Brain doesn't beat me up too much, I can do stand-up. Like, I have just enough health to almost, well, not, I don't have a lot of health to spare for stand-up. Although I didn't save before Mother Brain, so I probably shouldn't do stand-up. Because I'm still kind of learning the ins and outs of stand-up. So I probably shouldn't do stand-up. Stand-up wouldn't even save that much time anyway, because I don't have plasma. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna damage down like normal. Like, stand-up would save barely any time. So all I just gotta do is take out Mother Brain 3 and then proceed to escape. I'm probably gonna turn Screw back on though for escape because I don't have. I think there's a lot of stuff I don't have. Probably after I kill Mother Brain 3, I'll go menu and turn on Screw. I'll just turn it on now. And now we just have the escape. By the way, time is coming up relatively soon. It'll be once I enter my ship after escape. You know what? Since we're ahead of schedule still, and this will put us even farther ahead of schedule, I'm gonna go save the critters. Wait, I have to go the long way. I don't have speed. I'm just so used to going that way because normally you would have speed by the time you would get to the end of the game. What her speed was. Nah, I'm gonna save him. Yes, Algernon, I know you want me to taunt them, but I'm gonna save them. Yeah, I'll just go save the critters real quick. Since all my regulars, whenever I'm playing these on stream, like for whatever reason, just beg me to save the critters, and I never do it because I just want a faster time. But absolutely worth it. There, the critters are saved. And time. So that was a Link to the Past Super Metroid crossover item randomizer. Hope all of you enjoyed it. There is one thing that I want to do before we actually move on to the next game, though, and I do want to see my stats. Once you beat the game, you get the credits. You get the original credits of both games as well as all the randomizer credits, and then after the credits, you'll get a bunch of game statistics that show you how you did. Assuming, of course, we have time for that. And suddenly, Star Fox. The credits music has actually changed with every new version, I believe. I want to say it was in version 8, it was the Donkey Kong Country 2 credits trying to remember what exactly the credits theme was in version 9, but in version 10 we get the Star Fox credits. But just shout outs to the massive number of people that made this project a reality. So the funny thing about this combo randomizer is it started as a joke in the SuperMetroid community to put these two games together, and it just so happens that the memory addresses in both games do not overlap each other in any way, so that's the only reason why it's possible to actually combine the ROMs. Probably my favorite Super Metroid stat is time aligning doors, because it shows you how bad you are at fixing door transitions. Sub 8 Turian. Considering I didn't have speed, Sub 8 Turian was nice. Never found the flute. Over 2 hours to find the first sword. Not surprising. Oh yeah, Janice, if you're still there, where were the other 2 swords? Collection rate. I mean, considering what my Go Mode item was, that shouldn't be too surprising. But in any case, that'll do it. That's all I had planned. Thank you for having me. And looking forward to